Greetings and salutations. Welcome to
my line.
It is, throwback.
But his line, but technically my line.
Now it's our line. Now it's our line. Our technology. What's
Our
going on,
line.
everybody? This is the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we tell you the nerdy news that we give a shit about, and you listen. But also, you get to be part of the show because you talk to us and ask us questions, and then we make that part of the show. We don't, introduce ourselves for any reasons, but for everyone who hasn't, kept up with the lore of Nerd On. This is like a Crusader reunion episode. No fucking nerds in this bitch. Only Crusaders who don't wear capes, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Nerd On proudly brings to you the original Arden Capeless Crusaders. Tom, Barry, and
I was about to say, do I have to
Steve's.
say something? Oh, my bad. At DR Barry.
No, we don't do that.
My bad.
Throwback.
It's just, I can't. It's like my social security number, dude. Once it's in there, it's in there, and I
On
say
everything.
it the same way every time.
I was gonna say you're gonna say your social security. Don't do that now.
Yeah, you want me to? Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Anyways,
film it.
y'all know what it is. Mamba, Ethan Who, T-Dog, Battery Print. What's up? Hello. Who did I see? Johnny Horror up in here. 51 Jonathan. Hello. Welcome. It's Monday. It's Monday news night.
I am Diablo.
We chat up a little bit. We chit chat, catch up a little bit. Steve's. Barry, tell me how your weekend was. What was fun-filled and exciting that you might have done?
I'm gonna try to hang on. I'm gonna try to follow the formula. I watched a show this weekend.
Yes.
I watched a show. It is
Yes.
on the streaming service Hulu. That is a streaming service.
Yes.
It is originally on the cable network FX.
Yes.
It is called The Bear.
Yes.
I watched the first season.
Yes.
And it is a show.
Yes.
And I say yes, chef now way too much.
Yeah, me too.
Which, I hope that doesn't affect Tom getting into the Writers Guild of America. Me saying yes, chef.
I hope not. I've started watching it too. I think I'm on like the second to last episode of season 1. So, I mean, like Carmi did the little house party thing and all the kids fell asleep.
The Xanax and the Ecto Cooler.
What else happened? The flooding and the electricity went out, and FAC had to be like trying to fix everything. And I love Matty Matheson. Matty Matheson's my boy.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, he's so good. Like the anti-cooking shows he do. I love him.
My wife and I were joking about how Oliver Platt now only does like Chicago-based shows because he's a main character on Chicago Med, but he can't cuss on that show. So he gets to release all that by being on The Bear and just cussing up a fucking store.
There you go. I appreciate that.
But Steve, what you been up to? What's your weekend like? What's going on?
I too partook in a show.
Oh.
And because I also have the same goals as Tom, I'm following the same method here. A show about two brothers.
Okay.
Just two brothers
that are in the Southern Indie Wrestle League.
A Warrior.
It's a show called Heels.
No.
That's
Oh, that
another
should be
show I
news.
watched.
Actually, we should bring that up as part of news.
That's another show I watched though as well. Warrior on Max, Heels on Stars, and I watched both of those, and I am updated on those shows. That's it. I did watch SummerSlam, so I can talk about SummerSlam because they're not tied to any unions or anything, right?
Yeah, they bust unions left and fucking right, dude.
SummerSlam was.
Are they technically actors though?
No, okay,
they're
so
not union.
some of them can be,
Yeah.
but that doesn't cover them as wrestlers. Wrestlers do not have a union. Every time.
Not yet.
No, yeah, okay. You want to hear a beautiful quote? A beautiful quote from Jake the Snake Roberts. Someone said, "Well, what do you miss about kayfabe? Like, will kayfabe ever? Like, what was so great about kayfabe?" And Jake the Snake said, "Kayfabe hurt the wrestlers the most because they couldn't talk to each other because they were good guys and bad guys and they had to be separate from each other. Every time they wanted to start talking about a union, all of a sudden it's, oh, hey, you're a bad guy. You can't talk to so-and-so anymore." And it's just, now you hear all these old dudes coming out about how Vince and all the the wrestling promotions have always been anti-union.
Wow.
And now that's why you have these dudes with worse CTE than any football player, and doing all this damage to themselves and to their families. And
we did have CM Punk post on the social media because he is also an actor. He did post a SAG after a strong post. He is a wrestler with AEW, but he is also an actor, so he did post that as well
on the show that you watched.
On the show that I watched, because he is also on the show Heels about wrestlers.
He's an actor.
He plays Ricky Rabies. Great name. That's a great name.
Don't say good things. Shut up.
The name of a character.
Can't. Anyways,
blackballed.
SummerSlam was great. 59,000 people, and that's all I got to say right there about that.
Don't do that shit. You're no smarter than fucking Stephen Amell, you dumbass.
No, this.
I know, but you're like, okay, I get it. I'm kidding. Fuck with you. What did I do?
This is wrestling.
Okay, fine. You could blow up all wrestling as much as I guess we can. Yeah, we're not going to be in trouble for that. That's fine. I went to Josh's. He celebrated his birthday. He turned 25 years old. So he could rent a car legally now. And
interesting.
25.
What a young buck.
Damn, 25. Wow. That's the age that you should have a house and be married and all that shit.
Steve's, did your invitation also get lost in the mail?
It did, it seems.
Oh no, we never send it to a Steve's anymore, because the 4 times we've invited him to come to LA, he's just like, no, actually I gotta go.
WrestleMania. Yeah, sorry.
And then hang out with everyone but the people that actually want to hang out with him. It's like, oh, okay, that's fine, that's cool. Hey,
I'm coming to Disneyland in December, and I'm coming for you, homie.
Yeah.
Put him through a table for me.
See that, Steve? See how that happens? It's just like, hey, I'm going to be here at this time. I was like,
He's
okay,
going to
cool,
put you through a table for me, okay? That's what he's going to do.
When was the last time you ever put me through a table? Huh? Maybe I want to be put through a table. Maybe I want you to spit on me, call me daddy. Well, anyway, so yeah, Josh has celebrated birthday. That's why he's not here tonight. There's that. I'm in. I do my martial arts on Sundays, and I since I cut my hair, I realized I was like, maybe I just get yoked and just look like a fucking thumb.
I'm for it.
You could be like, oh god, what's his name?
Dwayne the Walk Johnson.
No, the fucking chairman from Iron Chef, who.
Oh my god! The guy who loves John Wick. He's like, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Because I just watched that John Wick where he, in the end, even he's just like, John, this is fun, right? This is great, yeah. And he's bleeding out.
The actor of Asian descent. Yes.
Yes.
That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah. He always plays like Japanese, but he's not Japanese.
He was also on the Max Show Warrior.
Huh?
That's all I'm saying.
He was an actor.
A la cuisine.
Yes.
That's what I say. Cuisine. But I did that, and anything else happening? No, not really. I mean, it's interesting here in LA where it's like strikes everywhere, and so it's kind of like, what can you do? What do you do? Like, you want to be there on the lines, and like it's just there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
But it's hot outside.
It's really hot. I mean, it's hot for LA. LA hot is like 90 degrees, and in Sacramento you're just like, oh, it's only 105. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's it. It's fine.
So
they did get hot and sexy though when Colin Farrell joined the strike line. I think the guy had that.
Right, I mean, yeah.
bastards. Let's go do a strike then.
I mean,
it was great.
If anytime Hillary Duff will be there, I'll beeline. But anyways, we got a show tonight. We got some news. You guys have some questions. I want to see some questions up in the chat. We're gonna do some news here, and then we might actually have some little editorials, because I think there's some things we haven't written down that we could talk about that would be timely for a quote unquote news show.
Things.
Who would like to go first? Barry?
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. Actually, before we get started, we do this thing. We gotta do little claps for fun. Clap, sync for fun. Hey, Steve.
Yin Diesel. Ooh.
This is an original Nintendo zapper.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Let's see if it works.
They got a little bit of that.
Memories right there.
This is Over the Garden Wall.
Story of a girl.
But okay, Brad, we got to get your claps, but also Barry, go ahead.
Clap. So, Corey and I both our Magic guys. A lot of Magic guys in here, but like Corey
Magic.
and I. Apparently, I'm gonna be stepping on his toes every once in a while now that I'm back, and Magic is part of my bread and butter. MTG, as I explained with Steve's, not Marjorie Taylor Greene, but in
Thank you.
fact,
Thank
Magic
you.
the Gathering.
I needed that.
But with the not the they just dropped the most recent set, which of course is the Commander Masters. But prior to that, they had the Universes Beyond, of course, Lord of the Rings, and the big selling point with the Lord of the Rings set was there would be a one of one unique V1 ring. Now,
Serialized.
just to clarify, there are multiple one ring cards. I have a one ring card. Mine's worth $50, but this one was unique in that it was serialized, foil, had the black text of Mordor on it.
One of one.
It was the Willy Wonka, but it was only in the collector booster packs, and the collector booster packs, we're talking like $40 for a pack of 15 cards. Ridiculous. So it was advertised as it was going to be out there. All of a sudden, there was bounties on it, $1 million, $2 million from all these people saying they wanted to buy it. And then there was other people that said it's a ploy. It's a marketing scheme by Wizards of the Coast. It's not actually out there. They're just going to give it to someone they know. And I said from the start, I know who is going to buy it, not who's going to find it, but I knew from the start who was going to buy it. And lo and behold, a few weeks ago, maybe a month now, the card was found. It was graded. It was slabbed. It was sealed. It was graded like a 9.0, which is hilarious. Just shows how Wizards of the Coast, their stuff right out the pack is garbage.
That Pringle, baby.
So, so it was found, but no identity was not revealed. Which is similar to like the lottery. Like you don't want to get mobbed, I guess. And everyone's like, no, it's fake. It's bullshit. Like, no. So I'm flipping through TikTok last week, as I do, as a 30-something-year-old man. I'm flipping through, and all of a sudden,
reliable news source.
It's a dude. I mean, I know more about Ukraine than anybody, and I know that. So I see this video of a guy holding the card, like shaking, and I was like, "Wait, it's already been found. Like, what is this?" And then I read the caption that it was the guy who found it. He had said, "This is when I found the card like a month ago. Like I knew my life had changed, but I kept it under wraps. I didn't want to say anything." And I'm just like, "Oh, brilliant move! Like, of course you would. Why would you put that out there? All of a sudden, people come out of the woodworks." So he finds it, and then his next video is him saying, like, I had to find someone who loved the game as much as I did, and I knew when I found this I couldn't keep it because his money would be life-changing. And I'm like, he's gonna sell it to Post Malone. And the next video is him meeting Post Malone, taking a picture with the card together. And I'm just like, Post Malone is to Magic and goodness the way Logan Paul is to Pokemon and badness, like Logan Paul, not Post Malone, previously had the record for the most expensive Magic card ever purchased when he purchased an artist proof Black Lotus right $800,000. So this time he is now the owner of the now most valuable Magic card, newest most valuable Magic card, at an estimated $2 million he paid for this
piece of
cardboard that's this big in a plastic container.
That has a foil just ironed on.
Allegedly it's 2.6 because he helped the dude cover taxes, which I'm like, that shows how good fucking Post Malone is.
Posty's such a good guy.
I don't know. Then all of a sudden, like now I'm seeing videos like people take booster packs to him at his shows, and he like opens them up and he like flips through the cards with them and he signs them and gives it back to him. I'm like, this dude just seems like, I mean, he hosted tournaments where if you won, you got to play him for like 10 grand. Like
if you beat him, yeah, you got that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I love that. I love Post Malone. And until something terrible, comes out.
Until he goes trending.
Of course.
Yeah. But, I mean, I feel like if it was going to come out by now, it would have, but who knows? So that is the news. The One Ring found, about a month ago, sold $2 million to a beautiful home in that Post Malone. And that's just a wonderful thing. I think in the end, everyone's happy. Everyone wins.
I've recently met some people who are in music production as well. And they're like, oh, I just recently started playing. And then like they're telling me their decks, like, these are expensive cards, bro. And he's like, are they really? I was like, bro. And I was like, all these people with like, who are in like the arts and the business, and it's like, who just have really disposable income. I'm like, I wish I could even be like a fraction of the whale you are just to do it. But anyways, that's crazy. Is Steve's, you or me?
I'll go.
All right.
I'll go. I'll get the sad stuff thrown in here real quick.
Sad sandwich.
Hollywood today lost a legendary filmmaker, Mr. William Friedkin, well known for his directing in The French Connection with Gene Hackman, and of course, one of the most talked about and epic horror movies of all time, The Exorcist. William died at age 87. He also did a movie called To Live and Die in L.A. with Willem Dafoe and of CSI fame, William Peterson. But usually when you bring up his name, it's the French Connection and The Exorcist that are always tied to him. He was a legend. I mean, The Exorcist has always been on pretty much a majority of top 5 horror movies when they of all time. So he definitely made his mark. They had some comments made today by former actors who worked under him, as well as Ellen Burstyn, who was in The Exorcist. So a little bit of sad news in Hollywood today. He's 87, so I mean, he was up there, but still a legend in the filmmaking business passed today.
In non-promo way, I did see the trailer for Exorcist Believer, and
Yes, I
they
did too.
did use the original theme as interstitials between cuts, which was a thing. Moving on.
I knew right away, by the way, when I first heard it. I know what this is.
I was like, oh,
They did that.
that's
Which, by the way, the person who is doing that film is the person who brought Laurie Strode back.
oh yeah, David Gordon
Gordon
Green.
Green.
Yeah. So a lot of people
Same
are not
treatment.
excited about that. Well, some people are excited about that.
Correct.
Yes.
Man, this sucks. Moving on.
I bet people have opinions.
You know,
Some
the
do.
internet is what it is.
Nanda's blows.
So that being said, speaking of someone who I'm gonna bring this in a funky way. It's not the news topic I wrote down in the thing. As the WGA went into a conversation on Friday at 4 p.m. in the Valley here.
Yes.
SAG-AFTRA entered their 3rd week of strikes and now their 4th week. It was their 100 days for WGA. They did not reach any type of agreement. It looked like the strike will go on literally, quote unquote, indefinitely until they can come to agreements of success based on shows. So like that'll determine your residuals X, Y, and Z. You've had a lot of people come out and speak against, certain, faces of the AMPTP. And even people like the one that really got me was I think Robert Carradine, who showed that like he got nothing from any of the Lizzie McGuire residuals, and he's the dad on the show. He's in almost literally every episode. So it's just like showing that, but again, like, and there's like keywords and things that people are getting really freaked out about, like inside leaks of people saying like it's not about the money, it's about the precedent, and that's what the AMTP is really worried about. Where it's like if we say yes, then everyone else is going to start asking for more money too, and it's like. That's a crazy concept. But it's like, because as of right now, the studio system has quote unquote lost as much more money than they would have actually had if they were actually agreeing to those terms.
Get out.
So I'm not a business manager of any sort. I don't have a degree in that. I'm not a wealth manager in any sort. So, but all I gotta say is just
Jay-Z for a second.
all I gotta say
I'm a
is
businessman. I'm a businessman. Anyway.
yeah. All I gotta say is, man, happy workers are busy workers. So fucking think of it like that. But that being said, there have been certain faces on the other side of the 98% vote from SAG-AFTRA, the 2% who voted against it. Some of them are the people that we talk about a lot on this show for various reasons. And it's neither to demonize or pick a side, but it's news. It's news that people such as Stephen Amell and Zachary Levi have both kind of voiced their disapproval of what SAG-AFTRA is doing. It's really that weird line to tread, because they have to say the first, it's kind of like they have to say this thing where it's like it's kind of when someone says like not to be racist, but, and then they say something racist, so it's like I stand with my union, but, and then they say whatever they want to say. And I think the more level-headed people on the internet are saying like, look, you could be the 2% that said no. But it's really weird when you say I stand by my union and then you say all the things what you don't stand with. So it's a weird moment in the light. A lot of people are kind of spelling the hopefully they don't end up like a Dean Cain route. If you want to find the clips on the internet, you sure can find them. Just make sure you find the longest one so that you can get the full breadth of the picture, so you're not making crass judgments.
get the entire statement so you can be like, yeah, no, Zachary Levi, you're still a piece of shit. No, that just, I mean, what? Sorry. I heard judgment. I didn't know if we were passing it or not. My bad.
My favorite thing has always just been hearing people say like, shutting the fuck up costs no money. So it's just like, hey.
I think now it's more apparent than ever that my rap, it should have gotten me a Shazam, not Zachary Levi. I'm just saying. Go back to the archives of Cape Crusaders, find that and see.
And,
Come on.
and especially speaking like someone who is also very in the spotlight of like, did they go too far? Is it problematic? X, Y, and Z. But Chappelle has a quote saying of like, let the street talk. Let the people do the talking, and if you're kind of like going against it, like don't try to detract from the movement, which is bigger than you. And so it's just it's interesting. It's an interesting time for sure to witness. So 100 days in, 100 days stronger. Moving on to the next bit of news I wanted to bring up. I guess we'll stay in the superhero stuff. David Ayer, director, the quoted director of 2016's Suicide Squad. I say 2016 because I don't know if it's 2017, but yeah, aka Studio Squad, because it got cut up by the trailer parks and all that stuff to recut this movie in a tone that's just not the way he wanted, has been taken to social media a lot lately and showing a lot of pictures of the his Suicide Squad, which is very interesting. There's been a lot of people wanting to see his version of it come out. He said it's not like the Snyder Cut at all. It's much more like what's funny is Steve's.
I like Barry's reactions. I've missed.
Sorry, I forget that I'm on camera at all times now. I apologize.
But
those facial expressions.
He pretty much says like his cut would just be his cut would be different. There is no reshoots to do. There's no additional scenes. But people are talking about it, right? And he recently kind of mentions like him and Gunn have had a conversation, and he said pretty much like, and that's the thing about David Ayer. He's been 100% the most like civil person out of everything, and that's typically the thing is like the fandoms get out of the control, but then like the people who actually hold the thing are like, hey, it's all politics. You can't fucking be like slogging them in the streets. But he's like, it's out of my control. Like people genuinely have interest in it. I'm tied to it because I know what it is, and my version's way better. But Gunn doesn't deserve to launch his DCU with drama from the past. And then he's like, and Gunn and I have spoke, and he said there is a time where it will be seen. And so I'm like, that's really cool. Does it mean anything? I don't fucking know, man. Like, the inside stuff I've heard would break a lot of my friends' NDAs, so I'm not going to say shit. But yeah, we'll see what happens. That's just, that happened today. And then lastly,
I was laughing at first because when you said Studio Squad, I'm just imagining Bob Iger and Zaslav forming this horrible squad of studio guys.
Just so much denim and 5 pairs of sunglasses per person.
Let's get our yachts. I said yachts plural.
And doing commencement speeches at Ivy Leagues. But the last bit of news that I have is that something we've also talked about a lot on our show is the kind of not like whistleblowery, but like people have come out and started speaking about their work conditions at Marvel, specifically the VFX artists. And, they talked about crunch time. They talk about like teams. They talk about like, it's not something we can't do. It's just hard when there's no oversight of like, hey, we had to render out an entire world. And then you say, hey, in 3 days, I need you to change that world from like heaven to hell. And you're just like, dude, that's kind of crazy. Like there was no notes in between. It's just like a whole new direction. And it usually comes down from directors who have no experience in this stuff. And, these are visual effects artists who, work from the conception of, we see the script, we would do the previs way before the director's even involved. And so it's an interesting time, but and people have been mentioning that since Marvel has been like just crunching out stuff left and right. Before we used to have Iron Man, then we got a Thor, then we got a Hulk, and then we got an Iron Man 2. And so we used to have like a year in between, and now it's like 4 movies and then 4 shows every year. And so it's just a lot. And, obviously, again, you can't mass produce something without losing a little bit of quality in the final touches and stuff like that. Storytelling, writing, whatever you may have that's all kind of like your perception of what's good and what you like. But, definitely seeing how Thanos looks like and then seeing how, other CGI characters look like now, you could tell there's a difference of time dedicated to it. And so, yeah, it's just hard to keep up with that. But today, and someone mentioned, was it Bad Reprint? Who mentioned it in the news? Yes, Battery Print also mentioned that 50 Marvel VFX artists just voted to unionize and are reaching out to IATSE. They signed or they filled the registration form for, like, I forget the acronym, but it's like the field of work registration forms. So it's really cool. Like, to me, I think any type of representation that, like, a body of people, as performers, of artists, anyone who labors and works for these big companies in such a way that can protect them so they're not just like disposable people is really, really cool, especially for the fact that, you know, most of everyone's like 80 hours plus of, you know, media that they've watched in the last 3 to 5 years has been primarily from Disney and Marvel. So that's happening. We'll see what happens. I don't know how long the registration process takes, but, you know, again, power to the people, baby.
I imagine the registration process probably takes longer than Marvel firing every fucking one of them, but we'll see. Because in my heart, obviously it's hard. I mean, it's just like anything else. It's like when I talk about, you know, I love Magic the Gathering, but like the shit that Wizards of the Coast has pulled and that Hasbro has pulled.
Just,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, baby. Like, it's just we're stuck under the boot.
I mean,
That's
but
grinding us all into the ground.
The cool thing, and you are all down for this, I know you get hot and bothered in a good way about grassroots movements. Everyone about, what was it, Magic? Was it Magic 30? The convention where they had
Electric
the like
Boogaloo.
they had the little the packs that are like $1,000.
Yeah.
And people took to the streets or the internet and was like, "Fucking don't!" And then
you're gonna cancel. You're gonna cancel your events. You're gonna cancel your pro tours, and then you're gonna come out with previously I think it was the 20th anniversary of Magic. The packs were like, it was like $100, and you got every card. Like, you got all of them because they were just reprints.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this, it was like, it was thousands of dollars, and you weren't even guaranteed all the cards.
No,
and they're not tournament legal.
They're not tournament legal. And then when all of the Magic, you know, partners were like, "We're not gonna promote these things," then they started reaching out to the Yu-Gi-Oh people, and the Yu-Gi-Oh people didn't know anything about that shit, and so they were just completely blind.
Trap card.
Yeah, they're completely blindsided by it, and so it's like, you know, in some ways, hopefully, again, power to the people.
Yeah, and in some positive partial news as well, Wizards got caught. It sounds like an artist or Wizards may have gotten caught using AI to potentially generate artwork or clean up some artwork for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I saw that with the Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus looking thing.
Yeah. So, or was it for Magic? It might have
D&D.
been for D&D.
It was D&D.
But basically they got caught, and it sounds like they very, you know, intelligently quickly came out with we don't approve of AI being used for artwork. Like, they condemned it. They, you know, reached out to the artist, and, you know, again, do I think Wizards of the Coast as a whole a good organization?
Hasbro.
No, but something like that, just straight up jumping on it and be like, hey, we're not going to use AI. Have they caught? I mean, who knows? Other people might have been submitting work with AI without them even realizing it. But I like at least the stance. I appreciate the, hey, you know, we're not going to do this. We don't approve of this. So at least that's a positive.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I have a quick add-on, news-wise.
Yeah.
I forgot something that I wanted to make sure I put out there before the end of this week. This Friday, August 11th, marks the 50th anniversary where a party at an apartment in the Bronx was taking place, and a DJ known as DJ Kool Herc took his old records and mixed them together, and the genre of hip-hop was born 50 years ago this Friday. So those of you who are hip-hop fans, hip-hop connoisseurs, just new to hip-hop, maybe take some time. There's some stuff going on Twitter. Well, excuse me, X, and other social media platforms that are going to be celebrating hip hop this month, especially this Friday, the 50th anniversary of hip hop, the first genre I learned about outside of oldies and country when I was a kid. So I kind of been reliving some old records.
Do you think young Swifties are going to be like, this is my hip hop eras?
Maybe.
Very.
She already, I mean, she's rapped.
Yes. Yeah. She's saving the economy. Let's let her be. She's saving
her and Barbie, two blondes, keeping the
I'm not saying anything
shoulders.
on her. I'm talking about the young fans of it. They're like, oh, hip hop era. And it's like, no. No.
And I was looking for like a top 50 list from like The Source or any other hip hop labels. Everything I can find, they all cite the same thing. It's the Rolling Stones article. They have the top 200 hip hop albums of all time. I've been trying to go through the 50. It's quite a educational treatment. So if you guys find that, enjoy. I've been posting on Twitter.
How about you shoot? How about you shoot the article onto the Discord, Steve?
I will do that. I'll put it out there since it's the only one that I've seen that's as formatted as it is. So you guys can check out the list and celebrate on Friday and the rest of August.
Put it on the Discord line, blood. Blood line.
Wu-Tang, love the children. Wu-Tang's for the kids. Okay.
All right. But now we can move on to the second part of the show where we answer questions from you, the audience. I don't know why I always have to have the emphasis. But yeah, everyone, if you'd like to be part of the show, you can submit your questions at questions.tv /nerdon, or you can go to the Discord, which is nerdon.tv/discord. But if you'd like to be put ahead of the line, we can go ahead and put your name in the bucket. And you also have access to a secret channel in the Discord. And you actually could be part of our green room conversations where before the streams, we just hang out, chit chat, talk, mainly talk a lot of shit. I usually just tell like Steve's how he's like the Winter Soldier and how like Iron Man's a fascist, whatever,
Yeah, it's great. I love every second of it.
Hey, look, if Batman's got to get the same like flack and smoke of being a fascist, Iron Man can get it too. Okay, everyone can get the fascist.
I never said that. You did.
Yeah, but you're just you get really sad about it. Anyway, so the Nerd On Patreon, and you can support us for as low as $4 a month. $4.
Steve Rogers is MAGA.
As long as they're still evading taxes.
What? He's not, but MAGAs use him in Civil War to defend their cause. It's ridiculous.
That's weird. Nerdon.tv /Patreon, so you can be part of the Nerd On Nation. $4. It's, you know, if you $4, you literally can't buy mainly anything else for $4, but you can support us, and it helps us out, and we feel good about it. And then you could be part of our little Monday conversations, and then chit chat with us. You know what I'm saying?
Tom, I want to answer a question from last episode that I missed.
Okay, so with that, everyone put in the links in the chat, please.
No, Tom, I want to answer it.
No, I know. I'm just asking for the rest of the thing. But what's the question first, and then what's your answer?
The haunted question about where you'd rather hang out in a haunted location.
Okay.
All of the above. That's it. Okay. All of them.
All right. Good show. Our questions for tonight come from Jose Cypher. What's your internet white whale? Something you've seen once but can never find again. Angela White.
You can always find her. Come on. She's always out there. Damn.
Okay, so I feel like I have a few of these, and I'm trying to remember them because I don't know if anyone was on the internet in 2007. I don't know. Some of you didn't exist. But when I was in college, there was this website called Stumble Upon, and Stumble Upon was the best time killer because what you could do is you would select your interests and then you hit stumble, and it would take you to a random website. It was like, you know, it was before the algorithm was an algorithm. It would take you to a random website based on your interests, and you'd find just the coolest thing. That's how I found, like, you know, just random websites, videos, like, you know, information, like just such cool like repositories of knowledge. And I feel like there's tons of stuff in there that I've like tried to track down. Like, it's been like, you know, links to like anime and stuff that I'm like, I've never been able to find that again. Like, you know, they only have like physical copies you can get in Japan, but it's like, oh, I found that on a website at some point. And I'm trying to remember. I feel like that's where I saw, because eventually I found it, but it's still been hard to track down. But like, you guys ever watch Escaflowne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant beautiful
now,
machines.
Yeah, the big white, you know, mech that it drills into the kid and his blood runs it. Like, I feel like that was one of those things that I found through there, and then like I could never find it on like streaming or anything again. Like, I feel like now I could probably just like Google it. I'd probably find all kinds of stuff. But at the time, I was like, oh, I gotta go find the physical copy somewhere, and like just lost it, you know, because once you hit stumble, unless you bookmarked it, like you're gone. You know, you're off to the races. So I feel like there's a lot out there that's come and gone.
For me is very similar. There, you know, again, back in the day, you know, anime was hard to find. Like, you had to have someone that knew somebody, or you had to know where the secret corner in that library was, and you had that public, oh, look, what is this, Trigun? And then you're like, oh, okay, let me check this out. So there's an anime that I've watched, and I found it once. So I watched it as a kid, and you know, obviously you're not supposed to, like, you weren't supposed to, because there's blood and there's boobs everywhere and all that stuff. And I was like fucking 7.
Blood and boobs.
It's great. It's fucking phenomenal. But like, it had my shit. It was like the very classic anime drawing where like everyone had like the short bobbed hair, or they had like, you know, just the bang shit, and like the long ass legs are just like 3 times longer than the actual body, and everyone had very, very like square or in triangle-y faces. But the premise, I don't even remember the name. The premise of it is like, in the future there is like, it's like Terminator shit, it's end of the world, and it's mainly monsters and people who could turn into monsters. And so we're at this point where this kid is being hunted by one of them, but then gets saved by another one from the future. And it's like, I've looked it up, and like the time frame I could think of was like Van Dread or like Kikaider or something like that. But like, it's this anime that I've dreamed about so many times. I'm like, I just want to see it, because I remember like it perfectly captured like in my mind like what animality should have been in Mortal Kombat. I'm like, this is the most badass, brutal, grotesque, cool, monstery transformation shit I've ever seen in my life. It's not Silent Mobius. I've looked for it, and if anyone in this chat can like find it, I'll perform things. You know what I'm saying? Like legal, consensual, legal things. Legal things. So I wish. Oh my God. Steve, what's something that you wish you could find?
I don't have like a specific one, but I'm notorious for like finding a tweet or article that I'm like really into. I'm like, this is awesome. And then the feed refreshes, and I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who said it, because it was someone I don't follow. It just caught my attention, and now it's gone in the ether. I'm notorious for that. I don't have a specific one. I forget to save. I forget to like or repost. I'm just attacking X left and right now.
Oh, isn't their fight gonna happen?
Who's?
Zuck and Musk?
I mean,
I thought it got canceled, and then I was like, actually happening?
I hope just so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Both bloodied. Yeah. Are we banking on MySpace guy?
I'll pay for Twitter Blue for a month just to see that.
Yo,
fight.
I'll tell you right now, Zuck's gonna win. Zuck's gonna win for sure.
Zuck's is more.
Other than Elon just coming in and just shooting him or something. That's like, Zuck is gonna win.
No. Zuck. Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, Elon like was raised, on the backs of enslaved miners and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like Zuck was like sad, lonely kid who was in martial arts.
He's got that rage.
He's got that rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like Tom Hardy is a more suitable match to fight Zuck than Elon Musk, which I'm just like, that's insane. Yeah. Insane. Yes. Anyway, so I'm sorry. Steve, you rest your answer?
That's all I had. It's not a specific one. It's random ones that I'm really interested in that moment, and I forget to save it, and it vanishes. I never see it again.
I think a lot, like Tom's, a lot of anime. Like I feel like there's a bunch of them out there where it's like it was, or maybe it was like a certain one that like it was like a movie or like a short like mini series of it that you like can't find anymore. Like I think about like I have actually, it's funny, I'm looking at it right now on my desktop because I finally found it and I had to keep it. It was on Toonami like once or twice.
It's with the submarines and the
Blue Submarine number 6.
Yeah.
Blue Submarine number 6. I have it. I have the files for it and I can watch it now. And for the longest time I couldn't find it because 2004, 2005, like there wasn't quite, people weren't like be like, oh yeah, I saw it on Toonami. Now it's on YouTube. Like it was, it was hard to track some of that stuff down. Like I think about, did you guys ever watch Reboot?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Reboot had the same problem that like Dragon Ball Z had, where like it got to the point in Dragon Ball Z where the Ginyu Force arrived and then it would go back to the first episode, and it would go, and you never saw Reboot get a kind of similar thing where when the computer came down, when after Bob was gone and the kid Enzo lost and disappears into the game, it would like you didn't get the rest of it. It would just go back. And then finally at one point it shows him when he's the badass and he's older with the golden eye, and Bob comes back like Jesus, like, and you couldn't find that for a long time. And I was like, and now like you have to get like one of these random free streaming services. They have all of Reboot on there because it was a Canadian show. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like
Tubi.
why? Such a weird, I think it was either Tubi or Temu. Temu is the anime version of Wish. Never mind.
Verve.
I get them all. I get them all mixed up.
I-
Dude.
I-
Grinder.
I love. I mean, I hope you find whatever you need on Grindr. I love going into the deep end of like finding out the airing mishaps for shows, and you're just like, America, you don't got it together. What the fuck is wrong? Like, so many shows are like, oh yeah, we didn't air this season because I'm like, why?
Where the fuck are my episodes of Bluey? Like, come on, Australia. Like, what's going on here? BBC and Disney, figure it out.
Next question.
Sorry,
It's
I'm angry about a blue dog.
hey, you can be angry about it.
Lovable, beautiful family.
The next question is going to be from TDog8282.
What a tea.
I don't know if Steve's going to answer this question.
Why not?
What was Nintendo's best handheld console? For me, it's the DS Lite. Go ahead, Steve.
I had the Game Gear, not the Game Boy.
Damn it! Of course you did.
Yeah.
For me, it's the SP. All day, every day. The moment you could close it, put it in your pocket, it didn't turn off. You had a little light, like that light. I mean, technically, yes, the DS Lite is like probably the best, or 3DS is like the best handheld. But like my favorite is the SP because it's just like it was so revolutionary to play from Game Boy Color in advance and be like, well, it's nighttime, I can't play shit, and then be like, I have a backlight.
No, I Game Boy Advance was like that's like my Star Trek, my Doctor. You know, like Game Boy Advance was my Game Boy. Like I played the others. My brother.
That's
had the
your
other ones,
Spider-Man.
Like, Game Boy Advance was mine, and it's like I think about having to have all those fucking attachments on it to make it playable. That made it last like 20 minutes.
That made it look like
I had one of those like curved lights up there and
Yes.
everything, like all that ridiculous shit that just drained out the batteries. But I even have it's right here down here. I can't reach it right now, but I have a carrying case that had the straps you could put on your belt, and I could flip it out with my games and stuff. Like, you had all this extra shit. I think honestly, I can't lie though, it's not been perfect, but I think as far as like when the combination of Nintendo games and portability, maybe people would disagree that this counts, but I think the Switch itself,
Oh yeah.
being you know, because I mean, you know, you got it is a, you know, it's a system, it's got to connect and everything, but like the fact that you can take it, just the stuff that has come out with it, like you know, it's been a beautiful. So while the Advance is my, you know, my love, I think the Switch is just like hands down, just because, you know, it bridges that gap between the console and the handheld.
I mean, the fact that like you could take it around, and if other people are like nerds like you, and you're just like, oh, I have a Pro controller. It's like, do you want to play together? It's like, damn.
This kickstand. Do you want to play? You know, on this? Yeah, that's great.
One of the games my youngest is playing on his Switch right now all the time is the Ninja Turtles 13 games in one pack.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's playing the one we played growing
all
up.
the way back.
He's playing
Turtles
that
in
right now.
Time and everything. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a little follow-up question just for Steve's because he doesn't know games. Okay, Steve's. This is from Black
Dated.
Diablo
I'm
Mamba.
dated. I'm very dated in my games. Yes.
Okay, Steve, did you have Streets of Rage 2 for the Game Gear?
No, I had Sonic.
Was that
Just
it?
Sonic.
Okay, all right, okay.
Sonic, and I think I had a WWE game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I had a WWE game on that one
That's
too.
par for the course.
okay, that makes sense.
And I ended up because I kept my Super Nintendo, it was still working. I ended up trading in my Game Gear and using the cash of that to buy the Jurassic Park video game for Super Nintendo, so I could play it on my Super Nintendo.
Okay. All right. Next question. I like this question. I think you guys will have a kick out of it. So this comes from Ethan Hu. Very good question. All the questions have been great, but I like this question a lot. Pitch 2 movies to be the next Dark Mama / Barbenheimer. It doesn't have to include one Nolan film, but that seems to be the trend. It's interesting, right? So it's like, is it a future thing? So like, I don't know what Nolan's gonna make, but like, you know, obviously, we could use our brains. Like, obviously, they're gonna do something like this. Obviously, I mean, yeah, I saw Saw Patrol, which I'm not for. That's too much. You can't take your kid to watch Saw. You could take anyone you want to watch Barbie, and then
Put
maybe
the Paw Patrol characters in a Saw situation. I
don't
want to
do
see it
that
right
to
now.
them. Don't do that to them.
Dun, 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 dun.
So none of them are like, I mean, The Dark Mama was a sequel. So Dark Knight was a sequel, right? So you can have a sequel. Because I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking, what's Nolan gonna do?
How else will he fuck with our mind? What's the next thing Nolan will do?
What's Nolan?
A comedy about construction workers, but somehow
Because he
digs in.
Because lately, so like Prestige, and Oppenheimer are both book adaptations. Memento is an original. Inception is an original. Interstellar.
Insomnia wasn't his. Was a book or
Someone else wrote it.
Yeah.
Dark Knight is technically adapted screenplays, right? Because they're based off characters.
That, and it's based off a story by him and David S. Goyer.
He wants to do Star Wars. Ooh.
He wants to do Bond too.
He wants to do Bond.
Most fucked up mission that Bond's ever had will be a Nolan movie.
This is a great fucking question. I'm like racking my brain right now.
I think I have it.
Okay.
But it's not as good, right? Like Barbenheimer was like, because Barbie was so Barbie and Oppenheimer's so Oppenheimer, right? Like, because so mine is this, because I'm like, okay, they're obviously going to do this, right? And we said sequels are not off the tables. I imagine if it is a Nolan James Bond, because I think he will get to do a James Bond.
Oh yeah.
I think it's when they bring Rose Byrne, Kristen Wiig, and everyone else back for fucking Bridesmaids 2. It's gonna be James Maids 2. James Maids.
Whoever the
or Brides Bonds 2. I think that's what it's gonna be, Brides Bonds. Because I mean, like, I don't know. I just feel like Hollywood's so not like pumping shit out, and then we're like, what was the last like female ensemble movie? Bridesmaids. That's my pick.
I mean, I can't think of something topping that.
I'm trying to think of like just them completely misunderstanding why Barbenheimer did so well, and I'm trying to think like, okay, cool. So like give Nolan like a female centric like let's give Nolan like we're gonna go back. You mentioned Kristen Wiig and a couple. We're gonna go back. We're gonna do the all-female Ghostbusters with a sequel by Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
And then at the same time, Greta Gerwig is gonna pick up where Rise of the Beast left off with the G.I. Joe movie. And again, just gonna completely miss.
Oh my god!
The important part of it, just be like toys. Barbie did well because of toys. Like just Greta Gerwig, G.I. Joe, Christopher Nolan, Ghostbusters 2.
So is it G.I. Joe Busters?
G.I. Joe Busters 2 because everything's a sequel.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. The Steves, come on.
You're rebooting Transformers for every fucking reason.
What is Unicron? Is he Earth or is he not Earth? All right.
When they were like, look at the volcano, I was like, did he get sucked into the volcano? Like, what's happening?
All right. Christopher Nolan gives us a Zorro reboot.
Is he going to cast the white guy as Zorro?
Yeah.
Tom Hardy as Zorro.
Lightly Spanish. Like they have
Diego Luna.
Yeah. And let's say fucking hell. Sofia Coppola directing Cabbage Patch Dolls. There it is. There's mine.
Cabbage Patch Zorros?
Yeah. I want to hear the Hans Zimmer or Ludwig Göransson's score for that Zorro movie.
I think this is the best cast right here. Chris Pratt as Zorro.
There it is. He probably does Ancestry and has like 5% Spanish, so he's good. He's done.
Hey, it's me, a Zorro.
Hey, guys, I got a sword. Look what I do with it. Huh?
Spock, why am I wearing this mask?
Whoa, why are you guys getting all mad? I got a horsey.
Literally, him playing the bard in D&D, probably the most on brand because there's just him. There's just him, as opposed to like him trying to be him.
Chris Pine just exudes charisma left and right. Absolutely. Like a lot of people forgot about that movie. I'm like, dude, that's one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. The D&D movie?
The D&D one?
Yeah,
dude,
fucking
it
love
was
that
phenomenal.
Movie.
It was so much fun.
Like my bar for it was so low. I was like, all right, it's a cash grab, whatever the fuck. But I'm just like, oh shit, this is really fucking good. Like it's literally Brandon Sanderson's like, attempt to do fantasy where it's like, do it as a heist. And it's like, oh, this is great. It's fucking awesome. All right. Now we have questions from the chat. So we have from last week. let's do
all the haunted locations.
No.
All of them.
Let's
Okay, got
do. Ooh, I like this one. 51 Jonathan. Fun question, since he had the curse question last time. If you're in the same situation as Johnny Blaze, that you made a deal and turned into Ghost Rider, what's your weapon and that you would use, and what is the vehicle you'd be riding?
That is a great question.
It's a thick question.
Okay. I have it.
Do it.
I have it.
Do it.
So there was a time where I'd broken my ankle in college.
No.
And I was in a death metal band at that point, and so we would roll around and do stupid shit. And what I'm picturing is, at one point, you want to talk about a heist? I used the electric scooter at Walmart. I stole a lot of stuff. And I feel like that would be the sin that I would have to be atoning for is robbing a Walmart. So I'm thinking electric scooter.
Nice.
Electric scooter is the vehicle with flaming wheels, flaming basket, and then I have my crutches from when I broke my ankle as my fucking lances.
Lances? That's badass.
Yeah, dude.
That's good.
Yeah.
Steve's?
Double katana blades.
Oh.
And my vehicle will be Dominic Toretto's Charger.
Okay. I'm going to go for the lulz.
Family.
I'm going to say, like, when I was a kid, I had to borrow my friend's bike to learn how to ride it, and I couldn't, so I rode it with a tricycle a lot of times, and everyone had bikes. So I'm going to say a tricycle's mine, just so I can definitely, like, I de-escalate. I'm the de-escalating Ghost Rider. I come and say, hey, guys.
Both of you. I'm thinking of the scooter and the tricycle with the flame shooting out behind it as you go.
Absolutely.
Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, it's like Saw. And my weapon of choice? What is my normal weapon of choice?
Your mouth.
What am I do?
I mean, is that like my penance stare? It's more like the penance yell, or it's just like, it's just like Tony Stark's fashion.
There it is.
He watches Fox News.
Oh yeah, sure he does.
He definitely loves Bill Maher. But I think it probably, if I'm filmy boy, right, I'll probably use like a tripod, like a camera tripod, and it would become like I don't know, like a spear. A spear. As Bobby Lee said on his podcast, that's what I would be.
Like runner up for me would be a cast iron pan. Just fucking Samwise Gamgee on fire.
I love that. That's a great question. And if for people who don't know, Josh can like ride a unicycle. I would love to see a Ghost Rider on a fucking unicycle. That'd be fucking crazy.
Juggling.
Still trying to
All of them are grenades. If he turns a jack-o'-lantern. Okay. Let's go with next question.
Next.
Let's go with, I don't know if we answered this one last week, but Steve's wasn't here, so let's do it now. Battery print
All the locations.
question. What is an unrealized project you would resurrect, i.e. Guillermo del Toro and Ryan Gosling's Haunted Mansion is mine? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I remember Guillermo. I thought this one was still tied to Guillermo del Toro,
No.
and I was wrong when I watched the trailer.
Interestingly enough, Guillermo del Toro's failure to launch projects are just as epic as his projects that he has launched in a crazy way.
Okay, can I have two?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I do have two.
Yeah, baby.
So I think one is just I wanted to see, because you mentioned Guillermo, I wanted to see his third Hellboy. I wanted to see that trilogy with Perlman.
Oh, and the kids.
Because it bummed me out, because I had high hopes for I like Harbor, but like that it fell flat for me. But like I wanted to see a third one. That's the easy answer. The more in the more kind of like insane one is I wanted to see Mobius's take on Dune.
Oh, Mobius.
Yeah. Well, Mobius did the artwork. I'm sorry.
Jodorowsky?
It was Jodorowsky. Yeah.
Okay.
So I do. Yeah, Mobius did the artwork for it. But Jodorowsky's Dune. You know, where you have fucking why am I blanking on his name?
Is it Leto or Baron?
Mustache. Artist with the mustache. Melting Clocks.
Oh, Salvador Dali?
Thank you. He was going to be the emperor, I believe.
Shaddam?
And his like fee was so exorbitant that they were basically gonna like replace him with like just like a body double robot. And his fee was basically like millions of dollars for the couple hours of work, and then he wanted the robot of himself afterwards. Like it's just like watching like the documentaries about how insane this Dune was gonna be, and like seeing Mobius's artwork, and I love Jodorowsky for his stuff in graphic novels and of course his films. So like that would have just like, if I could have just given that enough money to make it happen, just to see how ridiculous it would have been, that would have been just amazing. And those idiots who bought the art book and thought that meant they could have the rights to make it. This is like it was like just
wow.
they bought it. It was when the non-fungible tokens, when the NFTs like first dropped, and they're like, we have this now, we can do this, and they're like, that's not how licensing works, bud. Like possession is not 9/10 the law here. So yeah, I would want to see Jodorowsky's Dune. That would be resurrected.
Could be any project, by the way. It doesn't have to be a movie.
Oh, well, motherfucker. Okay, let me go back.
Okay, well, while you think of yours too, then Steve's, give me yours.
I'm still thinking.
All right, I got mine. I still have nightmares that like when I think we really went onto the wrong track of life, the wrong timeline, when David Fincher pulled out of doing the Steve Jobs biopic with Aaron Sorkin writing it. Like we had Zucky, we had Marky Zucky, but Christian Bale was going to be Steve Jobs. And a lot of people are like, well, we've already seen Aaron Sorkin and Dave Fincher. And I'm like, bitch, how many Marvels have we seen? Like, people want that shit. I want that shit. Fuck you.
God, Bale would have been Steve Jobs.
And fucking everyone there is great, right? Michael Fassbender is great. Fucking Seth Rogen's great. Like,
it's a great movie.
But I stay awake at night thinking like, God damn it, we were so close. So close. But so that's one of them. And then if I'll do a second one, that's a movie. I still like however the DCEU, everything, all the Snyderverse, all that shit is. One project like outside of like rest of the Justice League shit, I'm really sad about it. James Wan organically came up with the idea of doing Aliens, the movie, in underwater in the trench, and it's Black Manta and his mercenaries. And I'm like, that's why we don't need it, but man, now that fucking sounds cool as shit. And you're like, that just sounds cool.
Awesome too.
No, but no. I mean, Resurrect. Oh, Unrealized project. It's Unrealized. I was gonna say fucking Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I was thinking Resurrect.
Don't get me started on that.
When he rips his head out. Oh my.
Along with Swamp Thing is bring back Constantine. Bring back Matt Ryan's rendition of the character. I missed that. That first season was a victim of bad time slot, not what it gave us. So bought the first season on Apple.
All right. Well, before we get too long in teeth, Barry, what were your two others that weren't just movies?
Oh, I don't even.
I got a comic.
Okay,
I got a comic.
What's the comic?
One of yours?
No. Yeah, I want to make sure that Red Circle and Hackslash become. No, that's not what I'm talking about. There was supposed to be a third volume in the series called Halloween: The First Death of Laurie Strode, where it's supposed to be what happens after Halloween 2, 1981, and why she goes into hiding, which we find out she did in Halloween H2O. There was supposed to be a third issue that showed us her going to hiding, but Devil's Due Publishing went out of business, and no one ever picked it up, so we never got the third and final chapter. So we only got the first two. I know what happens eventually, but I like to see the comic take us there. So
Evil dies tonight.
No, it's not tied to that
Oh.
one. It's tied to the original Carpenter. When there was the hospital one, and then before the H2O.
Don't fear the Reaper, right?
Yes, that. Yeah, well, that's in all of them. But still, Tom, don't make me be the conspiracy gif with Charlie Day to get all the cables going the right direction. Which Halloween movie?
That just gets you closer to MTG, so that's fine with me. Not the good MTG. The bad one. If I could have a third one, fucking Guillermo del Toro's Hobbit.
Okay, dude, I feel like there's like a curio cabinet somewhere full of unrealized Guillermo del Toro projects.
Exactly. I'm just like, come on, man, just
Like,
give it to
like,
him.
He just give him control over everything. And I feel like it'd just be a beautiful time.
Redo Scary Stories Tell in the Dark as an anthology series, not a movie where they're all being attacked by the book. Give me an anthology series that gives you each story its own episode. Give me that.
Do it.
Amen.
Do it.
No writing during strike. Anyways,
Write, not sell.
that's it for tonight, y'all. Thank you, everyone, for swinging by, for sharing your Monday night, talking the news, giving us your questions.
Crusader reunion.
We hope you enjoyed it. If you want to continue the conversation, bring up your favorite questions and talk about them in the Discord.
I'm doing all the wrestling hand symbols right now.
I'm going to find someone to raid unless someone has a suggest. I see
Four
Ghoulie
Horsemen.
Girl on Silent Hill
Bloodline.
2.
Four Horsemen and Bloodline.
Bad
Same
Reprint.
time.
You always have the good selects with who we should raid. It's going to be Ghoulie Girl if it's not someone that you suggest, Bad Reprint. What is this? What is this?
It's the click.
This to me feels like a kangaroo mouse, a kangaroo like face, like hello.
The X and the X.
Okay, we're gonna be rating Ghoulie Girl. Steve the Barry, what's a phrase that we could send our lovely viewers over to Ghoulie Girl with the raid phrase?
Scissor me, daddy ass.
No.
No. Why not? No, that's a good one.
No.
That's
People
consensual,
may not be ready for that shit, okay?
AEW.
People may not be ready. Wait, she loved that? Okay, fine.
Everyone
Fucking.
loves the acclaim.
Hell yeah. Everyone loves the acclaim.
Everyone loves the acclaimed.
Okay, what's the phrase?
Scissor me, daddy
ass. Yeah.
Scissor me, daddy ass. You heard it here. It was not my decision. If she likes it, then that's fine. But scissor me,
Wear that
daddy
shirt
ass.
next week. Wear that shirt next week.
All right,
If she
everyone.
doesn't, we apologize in advance.
There it is. All right. Thank you, everyone. And stay hydrated. Stay on top of all the things that you love. Go watch the things without any promotions, all that good stuff. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.